Hello students, welcome to JCE Connect Module 2 revision session. Subject International Human Resource Management. Subject code 17 MB HR 403, 18 MB HR 403. Limits of global integration. So the first limit is limits on ability to respond to local needs and demands. When you go for integrating globally, there are a lot of problems which arise when it comes to meeting the needs and expectation or the demands of local people or the local customers. So here there is a lot of limitations on ability to respond to local needs and demands. The increased demand for coordination. When we go for global integration globally, you need to coordinate with the market, with the customers, with the manufacturing concerns. So that becomes very difficult. So too much of focus will be there on coordination rather than on local responsiveness. Then employee perception about expatriates. Locals perceive expatriates as the people who will be taking away their rewards, awards, or it may be then there will be a lot of negative feeling or negative perception of the local employees about the expatriates. Then becoming local responsive. These are the various limits of global integration. To see a few examples here, when it comes to Nokia, as we all know, Nokia is a known name. So here they continue to grow globally. New organization challenges emerge, especially in the infrastructure business. So in the past, the company was offering universal GSM technology based on global standards. Now customer-driven specific solution fitting local needs that require extensive customization. So coordination demands on the organization increased dramatically as the market expanded beyond the traditional operators. Nokia was expected not only to provide equipment but also to manage the whole project on the turnkey basis. This required a new set of skills that needed to be shared across the whole organization. And where Nokia acted alone before, the rapid evolution of technology now required engagement in multiple partnerships involving extensive coordination. So the old approach of global integration that had proven so successful during the first decade of global expansion began to outlive its usefulness. Tension created by global integration also impacted many of the employees. So Nokia had been considered as outstanding employer worldwide with a nurturing and empowering culture that created excellent opportunities to learn and grow. But more and more local employees perceive the company as providing only limited career opportunities since the majority of good jobs were filled with expatriates, most of them who were from Finland. Retailing the best local talent began to be a problem. Retaining a best local talent began to be a problem, requiring the firm to rethink its approach to global HR management. Same with McDonald's, which is another mega national firm, has not escaped from the consequences of the global success. So as customers around the world increasingly demanded customization to local preferences, its menu are becoming more heterogeneous. But that is the easy part. The company's biggest challenge is common with many other mega national firms, the perception of insensitivity to the local social issues. So McDonald's had a poor image in the European media by being anti-union, with allegations of interfering in work council elections, and its success in creating global brand makes it frequent target of protesters opposed to the impact of globalization. So the charges of imperialization leveled at global firms are not limited to American firms. The recently restructured Marks and Spencer, which is a British retailer, most famous British retailer, ran into opposition not only from the employees who were losing their jobs, but also from the French government, accusing the firm of violating country's labor law and social expectations. Most host government are not great fans of global integration. Then you have Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola transformed itself from an essentially decentralized multi-domestic firm into well uh, oiled global machine that pursued a tight orchestrated strategy of global integration. The objective was to centralize control so that many global expansion, centralized control so as to manage global expansion in over 200 countries, ensuring that these businesses worldwide operated cohesively. So first 15 years of this strategy were an incredible success, and Coca-Cola began or became the paragon of the global firm. So this is how, my dear students, if you could see the example, these are a lot of problems which do come, or there are a lot of limitations which do come when we speak about global integration. Becoming locally responsive, the root of responsiveness. So here first we have communication and transport issues which can be sorted out when you remove the trade barriers. Then you have business advantage of responsiveness. So first business advantage of responsiveness is adjustment to the local taste. So if we become locally responsive, you easily understand the taste of the customers, consumers, and adjust accordingly. Then there would be a wider appeal, then can overcome liability of foreigners, then competitiveness builds in, as well as credibility also builds in. Then you have localization in people management. It becomes very easy to manage the people who are working within the organization as well as the customers. Then HR is more sensitive to the local context. Now when it comes to local context, HR becomes more sensitive, and cultural issues also will be resorted out and should be looked in when it comes to local responsiveness. National regulations also regarding that particular local should be adhered to. There will be a lot of cultural differences between the parent company and the local subsidiary, as well as the host environment and the parent environment, and the company's way of networking when it comes to host and parent. So a lot of differences will be there. So it is very important that you need to understand the diversity in functioning, as well as diversity in culture, diversity in the environment, and diversity in the way the people work. Understand the diversity, you need to respond to that particular diversity. So for that you need to be very much guided by diversity. That means you have to respect the local diversity, you have to respect the entry mode which is being given by that particular country. Then you have to have HR practices which adapt to the local practices. Then capitalize on diversity. Once you understand the diversity, you follow it, you instill that particular diversity in the organization, then you have to capitalize on diversity. So here you go in for building cultural synergy, that is develop new solutions that respect each culture, and you try to bring in the mixture of parent as well as host country cultures. Then moving jobs to people, then challenges of localization. So you become very, you can very easily adapt to the challenges of localization. So once you do this, you can capitalize on diversity. These challenges of localization, finding and developing the local talent, it's the biggest challenge for localization, because there will be 100% scarcity of talent and labor market access will be very low. So because of that, it becomes very difficult to find the right employee as well as develop the local talent within the organization. Then retaining local talent, very challenging. So here expatriates are responsible for localization. So select the right person, very important. If you want to retain local talent, you need to have trained expatriates who are responsible for localization. Then you need to select the right person, setting the right objectives, then motivate localization, give too much of importance to localization, develop the staff, the local staff who are there, and in the key positions, and then HR, marketing and recruitment positions, you go in for developing the local staff. Then a lot of training and development should take place if you want to retain the local talent. International human resource management and international alliances. So alliance, what is alliance? It is nothing but a cooperative strategy in which firm combines resources and capabilities to create a competitive advantage. For international alliances, so here why it is required for the of international growth. When you go in for utilizing the resources of various countries, when you go in for utilizing the capabilities of various countries, you have the competitive advantage, and that becomes a tool for your international growth. Then cut cost of entry when you are developing that particular country, when you are developing the nationals of that particular country, the cost of entry also will be cut. Then leveraging opportunities, yes, it becomes an opportunity when you are having the resources, worldwide resources, as well as you are using the capability of the entire world. So here you are going to leverage the opportunities, and then economies of scales also are met. Types of alliance: functional alliance, that is research and development, manufacturing, marketing, distribution, production, etc. Then alliance of number of partners, contractual agreements, strategic framework. We have international human resource management and international joint ventures. Now IJV, that is international joint venture, occurs when two businesses based in two or more countries form a partnership. So here please understand, two businesses based in two or more countries form a partnership. So a company that wants to explore international trade without taking on the full responsibility of cross-border business transactions has the option of forming a joint venture with a foreign partner. Types of joint ventures: one is cooperative joint venture or equity joint venture. So here there is a collaboration which is set up to set up a new entity or a new corporation. So this new element is under high rigidity and complexity due to different legal implications of each country. Then non-cooperate joint ventures, so it's a contractual agreement that does not generate a new entity. All joint venture members assume the losses in an agreed proportion, and its obligations are limited to the obligations of the own joint ventures. Now, why joint ventures are taken into consideration? One is to get over commercial frontiers, that is, build new market niche into different cultures. Then creating new product line, it becomes very easy to create a new product line when two or more companies meet each other. Then improvisation in quality is 100% done. Then isolate each stakeholders bookkeeping. Then get access to new capital and foreign funding opportunities. Shorten production time. Production time gets shortened because of high technology which is being used. Then cost cut and minimize investment risk. Then higher specialization. You have specialized people working.